Okay, thank you so much for waiting patiently. Some technical issue, we couldn't start off immediately. And thank you for being with all of us here, online, YouTube, and offline, all the viewers. I take a lot of pride and a lot of gratitude that I was able to invite two of our inspirations. And inspirations are not just for me as a person, for the Edukemy institution that we are. Dr. M.H. Qureshi, he was the head, the HOD, the proctor, the dean of JNU University, and he has been all across the country with his inspiration. He is one of the persons who could have gone all the way to become vice chancellors and postings of those kinds, but he refused because he wanted to remain apolitical always. And I have immense pride to say that I was in some ways groomed by him. The topics, some of which I teach to all of you, geographical thought, topics of development planning. I would rush to his house, sit down in the afternoons, winter times, okay, and he would teach me personally. In more than one ways, he has inspired me as a person that I am. And he has seen number of aspirants, because there was a time when JNU used to be the center of civil servants, center of political discourse, center of lot of new innovations. In fact, the Department of Geography there is referred to as the Center for Regional Development Planning. And he was architect of that department there, now retired, but still active in his own ways, a person we love talking to. Thank you so much, sir, for being with us. And with us, thank you. With us, we also have a very senior teacher, again, my teacher, my mentor, Pathak sir. I think some of you already know him. He is the personality, I think, UPSC teaching ecosystem. I have ever had its first rock star. I think sir was the rock star, and continues to be. He continues to inspire the new generations of teachers, students. He is among the few teachers from his class. We have seen 4 to 5 rank 1 students in civil services. And his teaching is phenomenal. If you've been in his class, you know what I mean. You enjoy, you have fun, you laugh, and at the same time learn quite a bit. So my journey as a student was in his class. My journey as a teacher also was because of him. So I take a lot of pride to call him over. Thank you so much for coming over, sir. And we have with us the team from the publication, Mr. Vikas, thank you. And I have my partner in crime, Dev Tripathi. Thank you. That support. They begging to write, to keep writing, contributing. All the illustrations you see in the book are Dev's creation. Okay. And of course, we have Vishesh with us who keep on telling us what to do, how to change, what to modify, keep the timelines. So thank you, both of you, to be here with us. So I formally would like to inaugurate this process and launch the book. I think we have, we can do the honors, please. Sir, if you can open the wrapper. This is formal launch of the book. We'll request you to unwrap it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes. Dave, if you can please welcome our guests. Thank you again for starting off the process on auspicious note. I'll just read out a couple of lines from the book. This book, it's almost quite a bit of time, almost quarter of a century in teaching, and a bit more than that in studying for UPSC. And there were a lot of videos about writing some book in geography or essays or environment, but somehow I always desisted from that. I mean, I don't know why, but I never had the confidence I can write it, okay, at least the way I think it should be. But this book was very special to me because I've been seeing students year after year coming in, looking for guidance, looking for support systems. And this examination, you know by now, most of you, it is not about course completion. Something I always say. So a few lines on why did we choose to write this book? So I'm reading out something here. During our journey with Edukemy so far, we have identified many aspects of UPSC industry where a need for an overhaul or a relook at the way the things are done has become pertinent. There's a particular way in which education is delivered in this unorganized industry that completely overlooks the student, wholesome education, and the real powers of the new digital world. We felt compelled to write about them, neither as a rant or a critique, but as a guidebook for students so that they can effectively understand how to study and increase their chances of qualifying the examination. There is a mad rush for star teachers in UPSC coaching. They are promoted as movie stars, superheroes. This incessant marketing has brainwashed students into believing that simply by attending a great teacher's lecture, they can succeed in their attempts. This, unfortunately, only half the story. Education is more about the students than it is about the teacher or the content. It is for the student, and its sole objective is the growth and progress of the student. UPSC students are being horribly misled today by massive marketing and the predatory selling. They are forced to believe that joining a course, taking some live classes, will lead to success. Most of these courses are not application based. Most of and have little scope for interactive learning. They don't capture creative feedback. In UPSC coaching, a data-driven approach is sorely missing, dominated by its humanities-centric view. The science of learning, organization structure, and the process of assimilation have taken a backseat. This does not pretend to be a magic mantra for UPSC, nor is it a secret recipe of students getting the preparation. It is not the present, the only way that we show you. Certainly, you cannot complete all of this in 21 days, but we believe success in education ultimately depends on the connection between the teacher and the student, and there is no code for it. So I think I have captured the essence of what we want to tell all of you. This tries to help you understand examination and not simply as an exam to crack, but hopefully making you better learners, hopefully helping you read things with more involvement and more application. So that's initiating the process. I would like to request Professor Qureshi to address the class and his experience, whatever he has learned, whatever he has taught, what does he expect of a society? What does he expect of bureaucrats? Because ultimately, it's not exam. You're getting into a profession, you're getting into a job that tries to inspire some type of leadership in the society. There is a role, responsibility all of you are supposed to ultimately get into. So if you can be driven by that passion, and we are seeing a very long line, generations of students, plus many bureaucrats who he has interacted with. If you can share something or what he expects about how you should be thinking, working, and probably be part of this country's journey in making the society what it deserves to be. So, sir, if I may request you, please. Professor Qureshi, please.
Thank you, Shabbir, Dr. Pathak, Dr. Tripathi, and the aspirants of joining the team of bureaucrats in the country. It's a very rare occasion for me that the kids who grew in front of me, like Shabbir and his brother Naveen, they were very small kids when they were with me in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. And I'm so proud and happy that today he's talking like a very, very mature teacher. This is a sort of privilege for the parents as well as me particularly who lived with them for about 2 years. And I think we met and interacted every week. His father, a doctor, pediatric doctor, very practical, and one of my friends. He used to be with us for a long time, for 2 years. This is a rare occasion in which we have been meeting here, for me particularly, because I have taught in JNU, but I should tell you that I never appeared for UPSC. Now I ever expected or accepted the examination the number of times I was offered, or even evaluation. So I always skipped by saying my daughter is appearing, so I will not be able to associate myself with UPSC because I was not very comfortable with the type of that. Now, I also congratulate your effort. You are trying to come to that level. And it is your current the kind of learning which you are going to pursue, and also once you succeed, you are going to show the great responsibility for the development of the country and also the society. Once you are selected, you will be put in some district as apprentice, and also after some time you will become the in charge as collectors, as district magistrates, and then you go on climbing the ladder. I will share one of my experiences. Many of my students they started until the beginning, completed their until the after the civil services. One of them qualified and had to appear in the interview. One day she came running and sir, I have qualified, but I do not want to go to the interview. And what happened? If you are qualified, try. No, I to say that they will not select me. Because they are going to test that. If you don't attend the interview, I will be extremely unhappy. And she went, appeared in the interview, and lo and behold, got 13 points. And her person at that time, under now she has been film. So sometimes this happens. One of my students who said that I want to appear in the civil services, do that, there is no problem. You will continue research. I will support you. And she qualified for IPS. She was also learning. So there are experiences when my students are qualified, and not one or two, a number of them in different services. So, only what I want to impress that if we are going to dictate, we are going to sort of environment with the challenges. And these challenges different types. But at the same time, we have to understand the nature of our diversity. We are extremely diverse country. We have ethnic diversity, we have linguistic diversity, we have geographical diversity, diversity which one has to interact. Once you go to the district, you land yourself in linguistic journey. Because all of the states have been recognized on the basis of the UPSC recommendation to create linguistic states in 1956. And since language is an important parameter, because we have 22 languages and we have 99 other recognized languages. It means 121, and then there are 1,269 which are found as diverse. In that, we have a 1,490. For some of the so-called dialects have a number of sub-dialects. And some of these dialects have produced effects, transformations like visitors. Within our the dialect. Which admire on the same pattern. And long-term economics is just like the size. You can add the turbines, with parts, and odds up to 16. So the real long-term economics scientific book has this mathematical calculation. So great exercise which was done at that time. At that time is that was something to accumulate. And we are extremely close to Abdurrahman Khan. Abdurrahman Khan is the chief of Army Staff, Mughal Army. And it was said that in his hand was sold and on the other. So what I want to say is that learning to communicate in that particular language, because of the linguistic diversity we have. Then social diversity. We have economic diversity because our society is both hierarchical as well as differentiated hierarchically. It is not the situation. So we have a number of such problems we are going to if you accelerate, we are going to appreciate because language is expression. This is incomplete expression. Express through language. So you have right now different forms of expressions. So dance is one, drama is the other. You have a painting, you have other methods of expressing yourself, and some of these great scholars, they have attempted all these methods. So you have to appreciate the cultural diversity of the space in which you are going to be located. As bureaucrats, we will have to be very sensitive to systems, social systems, social parameters. You cannot take advantage. You cannot as that we are going to serve the people, we are not going to do the people. That attitude should always be there because service is very important to our people. We are going to some development situation, and we have sometimes in the midst of private pressure. The pressure may be political pressure, and the pressure may be your superior pressure. So you have to independently take a decision, and then it should be very, very beneficial to society to people who are going to serve. Because service should be the level, not the rules are there. Rules are there because we are also doing part ethics. Ethics, I am training guide ethics. To tell them why the same is. But to tell the truth in politics is the same. And to tell the anything, to tell anything in diplomacy is a crime. So we have what diplomats, when they interact, then what was body language? And the extent of his smile, because he will not talk. If it talks, really single from talking. So we have this challenge which one is going to face in the society, because society is complex. It is complex in the sense not only that because of its but at the same time, society is also it has aspiration for development. How one is going to develop in terms of their welfare. Welfare has to be taken care of in terms of economy, in terms of the other elements. Because we say the democracy is the policies are delivered. And if the policies are good, then the better, and at the same time, the implementation should also be good to benefit the people and to benefit the beneficiaries. So with these, I have already reviewed the book, and I wish you success, each one of you, and then in the life you succeed, and then your teachers, your mentors, they will be happy to see you, as I feel happiness in seeing the progress of my students. But some of my students have already retired as professors. From Kurukshetra, from Bombay, from many universities, they attend. So I feel that I have become old now. Superior citizen. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. He shared that aspect of my life. I actually grew up on his land. Okay, some time in my childhood, maybe I was with him good 2 years and more. I did not know life will take me where I am, and when he was with us, I never thought I will ever be a geography student or a teacher. Okay, but then the choices I had to make, I had to come to him. And I don't know if you know this or not, the old NCRTs that the ecosystem swears by of geography was written by him. That book is still on my desk right now. Okay. The book on class 12 का resources किताब जो है, it has MH Qureshi, and he and his team were responsible for designing the NCRT courses also. Okay, so and we have enough time. Sir expert in Sanskrit, in Urdu, in Hindi, in English. You should stand sometime if you can meet him and talk to him about, the different scriptures, what they mean, what they imply. It's an amazing experience. But I'm proud to have him here, verified sometime. Thank you so much. Okay. I request Professor to now come up. Like I said, a very different experience being in his class, and even different experience when I was teaching with him. It was a kind of a gift to me to be able to have the team that he was teaching and I was there too. And Sir will share some experiences. More importantly, he knows what it takes to become the civil servant you aspire for. I don't think you would have had experience or interacting as many people, okay, as the number of successful candidates he has seen. Right from the 90s, his own time, when the industry was still very small and nascent. And Sir has been at the forefront, the leading teacher, and even now he commands his space irrespective of who comes and who goes. So hear him speak. Sir, I request you please.
So, good afternoon, Dr. Sahab. Very honored to stand in front of you. And Shabbir Sahab, Bob Sahab, very esteemed, and my other esteemed friends and dear students. Well, I would like to share with you few things which I know from my exposure with my students, which will enable me to become successful in this examination, or at least not just for the examination, but also in life. Now, one is that you see, there are a lot of strategizing that we do. We consult toppers, we read their interviews, and try to know that, what we follow to become successful. My idea is very different. My idea is that first you should know yourself to be successful. Because I tell you very honestly, all knowledge of psychology tells me that we are all different, unique. And if we do not know ourselves, we will probably not be able to know what this examination requires to be successful. You have a learning style. Some people are convergers, some people are divergers. Some people believe in abstract learning, some people believe in complete learning. So we are all different here. If we know our style, then probably we will design our preparation to suit our needs. And this shall enable us to become successful. Now, here I would like to say that you see, there are few learning styles which UPSC favors and few others that it doesn't favor. For example, if you are a divergent thinker, or if you are a person who has got good style of processing information, then probably this examination is not something that you will appreciate too much, because this examination requires a converger and an achiever, and an achieving approach. An achieving approach means that that rather than delving very deep into the subject and trying to read a book in every topic, I must be able to make sense of classrooms and produce the relevant information that the question demands as per those notes which are given to me, and produce one example from my common sense. And this will be good enough for me to fix the marks. Because if you see, UPSC also, these days the way the questions are asked doesn't require you to go very deep inside. Yes, for your confidence building, you can go deep inside, but otherwise it is not required. And remember, you see, there is a paucity of time for every student who is preparing for this examination. Going deep has one risk, that it may delay your time to reach Missouri, because you may have to invest more number of years, okay, have complete control over the syllabus than you otherwise would have. Another thing which I wish to tell you is this, that you see, in this examination, the first and the foremost requirement is memory. If I don't remember anything, I will not be able to reproduce it. Now, there are many students whom I meet who ask me this question, sir, should I join test series? What test series should I join? So I always tell them, you see, the question of joining test series arises only when you mastered the content. Without mastering of the content, if you join test series, it will be a futile exercise. Then there is one very bad habit which has not made in many students I see. Say, for example, test is scheduled on 5th of March. Now, many coaching institutes give students the luxury to postpone writing of the test, maybe write it on other date. In UPSC, you don't have this option available. That if the examination is announced to be held on 19th November, you can't postpone it. It will be for November as per your preparation level. Isn't it? So, in actual examination, you don't have an option. In test series, under some pretext or other, you postpone it and then try to get us, and then on the basis of the score, make an inference that this is the kind of performance I can come out with. This is incorrect. The day that test is slated, you must write it there at that day itself. That will give you a clear idea of where you stand. And also remember that you see requirement of prelims and requirement of mains are completely poles apart. So if by chance a person is not successful at the level of prelims, he often intends to believe that if in the first stage of the examination is not successful, probably he is not cut out for mains. That is not true. The requirement of mains is quite different from prelims. So therefore, please don't think if you are not qualified prelims that you are not good for mains. And also let me tell you, just because you have qualified prelims on every occasion also does not mean that you are good for mains. So you have to be versatile in both areas. Prelims, mains, and interview are three different types of challenges. And you should be geared for all three challenges. And one more piece of information I would like to share with you is this, that you see, when I prepare for the examination, many times at the back of my mind is this thought, that this year if I clear prelims, I will be satisfied with it. Probably next year I can think of clearing the mains and interview as well. It is not like this. Any failure damages your self-efficacy. It brings your self-confidence level down. So it is very, very important that you must do your preparation in a manner where you are prepared for all three stages of the examination. The prelims, the mains, and as well as the interview. And take a jump into the examination only when you have done homework with regard to these three things. Interview, now there are many coachings available for interview, but interview also is a problem. Unless and until you have the capability to express your thoughts cogently, you cannot succeed in interview. Plus, you need to develop some type of effective listening ability also. Because unless and until you hear the question or listen the question presented by the interviewer, you will not be able to answer. And also, very important is that you need to have some kind of high element of wit inside you also for the interview, because the requirement of the interview is that, I must be able to, on the spot, create something and produce. And many times they will ask you the questions which you may not have an answer. Now, there is no need to show the kind of the kind of confidence and composure you exhibit is also a factor that will decide the kind of score you will get. So please understand that the requirement for prelims, mains, and interview are different. And I must prepare myself accordingly. And also, another thing is, not all of us are blessed with same cognitive capabilities. Some are more sharper than others. So I must decide my own pace. And I should also understand what is my pace of learning. In the class, the teacher will come and teach, keeping the requirement of an average student into account. But there may be some who are brighter, some who are not so bright. So I must know that pace and not feel intimidated by the fact that my neighbor learns the things much faster than I do. Please understand like this. And also, when you prepare for this examination, you should have a kind of a philosophical approach in mind also. You see, apart from your hard work, commitment, sincerity, and the genius that is inside you, its utilization, there is a bit of chance element also in the examination. So you should not very harshly judge yourself, become highly self-critical in the event of a failure. Because please remember this, that in such kind of a competitive examination with limited number of seats, there is always a chance that, some chance factor may not work in your favor and you may not secure the rank that you want. So you should be prepared for all these things in our mind as we set ourselves to meet the challenge of the examination. Also, I must like to add one very important thing, that there is a definite problem in most students as far as writing or producing the answer to the question is concerned. They write what they know and not what the question demands. Naman is not interested in knowing what you know. He is more interested in knowing what the question demands. So you should develop this ability to lines and know what the question demands, rather than what you know and produce it. And many of us are also under a wrong notion that we know everything. The point is, or we have a lot of miscalculation regarding the kind of effort a given subject may require. So that is why I said in the beginning, I again repeat it, you must know yourself very well. Only when you are aware about your strengths, limitations, then only you can do justice to this examination, otherwise not. So on this note, I finish and thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Sir speaks from his experience. And I think now most of you know where my ideas come from. Okay. The focus on memory, the focus on the answer writing, the focus on that you have to practice things. So you have to know now what inspires me there. In fact, when I was preparing, one of the options happened to be psychology. That's how sir was my teacher. And when I gave my tests, I remember I tried to convince sir to postpone one of my test days. So when sir is telling that, I can recall what he told me then. Okay, I had some issue with my hand. He said, "Koi baat nahi, left hand se likh lena. Exam dena padega." So that is. I think when I get so upset, why you shift your exam dates? Anyway, thank you so much, sir. It was such a pleasure. I request Mr. Vikesh to speak a few words from the publication. He has been kind enough to be patient with our process here. Please, a few words and your experience.
Thank you, Shabbir. Am I audible? Can you hear me? Last week. Thank you. So I think it's been a fantastic conversation that we've heard so far, and it's actually a privilege and honor for us to be present here, to have been given the opportunity to publish this wonderful book. In fact, when I got to know that this book that Abdul and Shabbir ji were writing, I was wondering in my mind that there are various kinds of books in the market on strategy, on tips and tricks. So what would make us unique as a publisher? I personally have been in the publishing industry for over 25 years now. I worked with some of the fantastic companies like McGraw-Hill, Pearson, LexisNexis. And about 7 years back, I started my own venture with my business partner, Oakbridge Publishing. So we specialize in books for civil services aspirants. And we keep looking out for good authors with good content, original content. So when this came our way, I was thinking that, what would be my questions from the prospective authors that, how would we do a different book? But when I met them and I looked at idea, the concept, and the kind of content that they were creating, I was amazed. I was like, this is exactly what would provide the insights and the practical advice that students require. And I was wishing that, they would me see that, they were tough authors and they asked me a lot of tough questions. But I'm glad that we finally managed to win their trust. And we did, have a lot of people actually, in a student, age, you don't know the difference between a publisher and a printer, right? So it was the same case with us when we were students. But a publisher brings a lot of value in terms of content enrichment and enhancement, right? So that's where a lot of dialogue happens with the authors, where it's not just the editing, but it's also ideation, it's also conceptual clarity, and whether what we are trying to convey is going to be received in the same manner by students or not. So that's the value that a publisher brings in, right? Other than, of course, producing the book, printing it, distributing it, making it available across. That worked out very well. And a couple of very interesting things that I observed by this book, and that's what I was sharing with Dave also about today, that it's not just a regular strategy tips and tricks book. It's not a book that just tells you, okay, here are these learning methodologies, there are ways in which you can grasp quickly, succeed in the exam. It's not just a simple motivational book. It's a book which basically works along with you. As Shabbir said initially, it takes you on a journey. It helps you evolve, right? And as Qureshi sir mentioned, that when you become a civil servant, there is a certain expectation from you, right? You're supposed to move and behave in a certain manner, right? This book helps you shape your personality and thinking, right? As there was quote in Gita, I don't remember it exactly, but it says that, there has to be consistency between how a person thinks, how a person talks, and how a person acts, right? The book actually helps you shape your thinking. And if your thinking transforms, it actually, transforms your overall personality itself, right? So it's actually a strategy book which has a lot of it has a workbook kind of approach. So it has a lot of content space left in there for you to write out your aspirations and your plans. So it encourages you to write down so that you remember it and you can keep referring back to it, when you need it. So right from the first chapter, which talks about why you want to become a civil servant, right? What really made you take this decision? And it makes you write it down, and it gives you different parameters and on which to evaluate yourself, that is my thinking right, and why should I become a civil servant, right? So it gradually takes you through different stages. So I personally think that the book will add a lot of value to all the serious learners. Think of it as a mentor who walks alongside, who helps you find answers to some very, very difficult questions, and at times ambiguous and vague questions as well. I also, since we published a lot of other authors in the area of civil services, some of them are successful civil servants. One of the things that I often talk to them about is that what makes the difference between a successful candidate and a not so successful one. And they're like, it's a very fine line. It's the exam is so competitive that it's very hard to pinpoint and say that this gave the other person an edge. But a couple of key things that often come up in the conversation are: one, the successful candidates know very clearly how to avoid distractions. We live in a way distractions are rampant, right? One look at your phone and you get sucked into it, right? So the successful candidates are actually able to know what are key elements that are going to distract me, and keep the distractions away for a while. It's not that you don't have to use your phone, but you should be able to know when and set some timelines and bring some sense of discipline. Similarly, successful candidates don't compete with others. They compete with themselves. They constantly introspect and monitor their progress. How are they moving on? What progress are they making these previous, a few weeks or months, through which they've been reading? And the other thing was that successful candidates look at the exam in totality and not in transactional phases. So it's not that
I have to first prepare for prelims. Once I clear prelims, then I have to prepare for mains and then for the interviews. They know that these are different stages of the exam, and they start preparing accordingly, simultaneously preparing for multiple things. Ensuring that they are constantly seeking feedback from their mentors, from their teachers, and working on them, working to their strengths. So I won't take much of your time. I'm not a regular teacher. I'm just a publisher. But my advice would be that if you've taken the decision to appear for this exam, it's a very prestigious exam. Give your best shot. Don't leave something for tomorrow. Don't leave something for the second attempt. Do whatever best you can do now. Ask your teachers for all the learnings and ideas that you require. Read the book. And I wish you all the best, and I'm sure a lot of you will turn out to be successful. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much here. I remember a quote that I read some time ago. It says, if I was given, I think Abraham Lincoln probably, if I was given 10 hours to cut a tree, I would spend 8 hours sharpening my axe. It's a profound wisdom. That's the examination and the career you want to get into. It's such a huge thing to do. It's surprising that people don't spend time understanding examination. People don't spend time appreciating what exam needs, what's demanded. And very rightly said, this exam can't be cleared if we have a piecemeal approach. If I want to put one word to the examination demands a certain type of personality, not content, not information based. They demand one type of a person. The coaching, the training should be about becoming that person. The skills of analysis, it's a personality one. It's not something कि आप जाके exam दे के आ गए because I knew answer हो जाए. And across papers, they are testing that aspect of who you are, your opinion, your ideas. And that's how in essay paper, ethics paper, everywhere. They surprise you partly because you see, when you're surprised, what comes out of you? Okay, अगर बना बनाया you know यही पूछने वाला you plug it up. But when surprise you, when you are unawares, not expecting कि क्या पूछने वाला है. Then what is your mental level of alertness, your ability to converge ideas? So that's what Pathak sir also talked about. That's what Vikesh talked about. And you must appreciate one thing that Qureshi have said, that you have a responsibility to the society that you're going out to. This is not a regular job. This is something that must go out of the society, development, responsibility whatever you have. So thanks again, all of you. Now we'll take a few minutes where we'll invite questions from you. You can ask questions. We'll have a small 15 minutes of discussion panel. Okay, 3-4 of us. And thereafter, we have a list of certain surprise gifts for all of you. Okay, we'll pick up your names from a drop box. And of course, we have some refreshments thereafter. So give us 2 more minutes, we'll be done with this. So we keep your questions ready. Some of the personalities we have managed to get here, we will not get to meet them as easily. Okay, apart from the fact that we will require proper time slot to meet them. Okay, I brought them here. So interact with them, ask them. And of course, we have to interact and clarify whatever doubts you have. So a small discussion session, yeah. That's fine.
Hello. Yes. Last bench? Online? Okay, we can get started. I think without further ado, let's go and take some questions from you guys. And then what we can do is kind of summarize and close. So, yeah. Yes.
Question, please.
Yeah, please mention what your question is, and if you want to specifically ask one of the panel, please name that too. Yes.
It's not currently recording. Yeah, you can take it. It's not linked to the speaker, to the system, so you can speak a bit loudly and speak casually.
Good afternoon, sirs. Actually, the question I am right now, in this field for like 2 years, like 1.5 years, and I'm facing a problem like I'm having too much of procrastination in my life, and like I'm not able to tackle that easily. And even I'm having a lot of health issues, but they also like I want to be this zombie. And how can I overcome this procrastination thing? And the second thing is that when we are like, I fear a lot right now. Earlier, I used to be a confident kid, but now I'm very like a feared person. So, how to overcome that thing?
Who you asking?
So, Matak sir is in the.
Of course, yeah.
Yes.
See, no, audible or not?
Yes.
I just want to say, I will be very honest in saying this.
Yes.
This tendency to postpone things comes because of the tendency of escapism. When this examination appears to be a daunting task and quite unmanageable after some years of or some months of preparation, it seems unmanageable, then the normal human tendency is to escape. So this, your tendency to postpone things is because of the tendency to escape. Now, why is this tendency there inside you? The question is that, well, you know, probably the kind of information processing that examination demands is quite more complex than what you currently are doing. So I would say give yourself more time. As I said, self-pacing is the key. Pace your preparation and that will help. And regarding your fear element, which is present, I must say this fear is because of, again, the challenge of civil services. When you came here, you were confident. When you said that I lost my confidence, it was because, again, the challenge started to seem to be unsurmountable. Now you have to convince yourself that you can surmount it, number one. Number two, set small goals, start accomplishing those goals. Once you accomplish those goals, you'll get the confidence back, your self-efficacy will build, and you'll get your vigor and as well as intensity back. That's how it is.
Right.
So I'll just add to that. I think on page, you guys will get it, but on page 287 of the book, there is a journey, okay? And there's a step in the journey where the character falls and says, this is so hard. I think it happens to everybody, right?
Yes.
You go through the journey, you start something, you're super excited, right? There is a bundle of energy, you're like, go, you are running and you started, everything's going forward, and I'll do this. But 5 minutes into the race, reality hits you. And you're like, oh, so this is going to be tough, right? So I think it happens to everybody. So when you read through it, you kind of explain what happens, because when we're talking to students, it happens a lot. You get hit hard, you fall, but that's where you talk to mentors, you talk to teachers. See, I spent 25 years in corporate life. I'll tell you, stress is everywhere. Okay? And stress happens when you do not act on the pressure. If you start acting on the pressure, understand where the pressure is coming from, because I don't know this subject, or I'm pretty bad at this. But you have to get into it. But once you know and you start doing some things, your stress level goes down. So there is a story where each of you are kind of playing a part in that story. The frustrations will come, but there are ways to get up, get going, reinvent yourself, and eventually face the tough past. That happens in all business, by the way. And like this picture is not something like my mind. There is there's something called the hero's journey. Look it up. All movie makers from Christopher Nolan to Tarantino, any of our own, you see it, they do it. The hero always, there is a call to adventure, followed by a reality striking. That always happens. So don't fear it. I think you'll get over it, but you have to understand how you need to get into it. Yeah.
Thank you. Please, please.
Because we are living in an era where there is explosion of information. Now, this information is not knowledge. You have to convert the information into knowledge. And then all knowledge is not wisdom. You will have to convert this knowledge into wisdom. So there are processes. So don't be afraid of the information explosion which is there and you are within it. So you sort out what information is required by you and what is useless information, shun it away.
Thank you. In fact, I think this one question of Simran, right? Captures all of you, right? She has taken the question that concerns all of you, and the answers are there. If I may answer this from my side, one single reason why you are scared or why you are so frustrated is because you set targets unrealistically. You have not measured your competence, what you're good at, what you're bad at. Okay. I got a message last evening from a boy. I mean, I can't read it out for many different reasons because it has some other information you would like you to know. But his one sentence was, "Sir, I'm giving examination last 2 years, and this year I have to qualify and enter the holy book of UPSC rank list. Okay, what do I do?" Okay. No, after 2 years preparation, the student should have first understood why is not qualifying. Rather than asking me what I should do, we should have known these are the gaps I have, and these gaps need 1 year time, or 6 months time, or 4 months time, and accordingly work. So when you enter the examination, you have assumptions about the examination, or but once you start knowing, these are the gaps I have, and this requires 6 months. This requires 1 month. This requires maybe 1 year. When you have a good planning, फिर आपको ना डर लगेगा ना हेल्थ खराब होगा. And I will take this question as a reason to tell all of you, health matters a lot. Don't set targets, don't set goals for yourself which your body is not able to manage. You build your competency slowly, gradually. Okay? So, yeah, thanks for asking the question. Anybody else, any question? Yes. Yes, possible because cannot be regular. You speak loudly from the speaker. Okay. But we'll hear you, yes.
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, my mindset. Perfect mindset and achieve that continuous. Because sometimes it's a
outside of our mindset, what should be the right path and what should be the
wrong path. And how could we achieve that things?
and continue.
Who you asking? Why you asking?
Sir, no, obviously I'm because everyone.
Okay, fine. We'll give our grades.
Number as Shabbir Sab told you that number one is realistic goal setting. Number two is positive self-talk. Just as we have dialogue with others and it impacts us, same way we have a kind of dialogue with ourselves also. So I say that positive affirmation, positive self-talk will help you to stay motivated all the time. This is very important. And third is trust your own inner being. You see, our body is designed in a manner which will take us to the path which is righteous. But when we stop trusting our own inner self and are over concerned with evaluation of others, and listen to the outside noise too much, we get disturbed. That is what we should avoid.
Okay, thank you. I think I must point you to something that you have tried to codify in terms of mindset, right? So mindset, first of all, differentiate between mindset and strategy and planning and things like that, right? What I must do on a daily basis, that is your plan, right? The mindset is something that you bring to everything that you do, in the sense that if you have a question, how you're answering it requires a fresh mindset, a different mindset. So you might have heard this Shabbir talking in class, and we talking about this approach called yoga, right? YUVA. And the intent why we came up with that word, and stands for Y stands for you, U stands for understanding, V for vision and approach, is that a lot of the UPSC questions today don't come from syllabus. I mean, they are part of the syllabus. The topic is there, but the questions is of a very deep nature and demands that you have a very leadership and strategic vision about it, right? So in terms of mindset, obviously, everything that Pathak sir talked about, but when you're dipping yourself into academics, you need to have that mindset that if I'm a civil servant tomorrow, what will I do about it? How should I think about it? What are the challenges that are going to come my way? Headwinds, tailwinds, whose support do I need? Right? Like I take an example, we often hear this air quality thing in Delhi, right? Everyone knows the facts, right? You all know the facts. You can Google it. You have 5 minutes to know all that. But how you answer it, what's your vision, what is your approach for success, has to differentiate you. And another thing of mind is a very tactical thing. I think Pathak sir talked about it. We all talk about timetable, right? But we don't talk about distractions. If you can get rid of distractions, you can stick to a timetable. So, you should have the mindset. One is the answer writing, that I talked about. But more importantly, remember, this is an endurance sport. It's an endurance sport. So you should have the mindset of an endurance athlete. What does the endurance athlete do? You fall, you get up, and you keep running, right? So constant motivation that Pathak sir talked about, all of that. I think there are many books on endurance athletes. Pick up one, read it. I mean, you actually do much more of a struggle than an Everest climber. An Everest climber takes a year of practice, pretty good physical ability, and gets there. You guys are doing much more than that. So it's much more mental prowess and preparation and clear mindset. That's why we have the images of the mountain in the book, because it is very metaphoric. You guys are climbing something that's not only incredibly hard to understand from an academic perspective, but incredible load on your mind and your mental frame. So do not neglect that piece. Do not neglect your health. Your mindset should be how you reach the summit, right? That should be your mindset. Small things, daily setbacks, you will have on the way in a long journey. It's there, but you got to keep that aside. And you have to learn how to keep moving constantly towards growth. Thank you.
This is a question. Yeah, please sit down. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's been some time. There are 3-4 students who are preparing together. I don't know, sir, because Shayad, they come across these. One of them came and asked me, sir, while we are preparing, we realize it is not only information. There are so many things about the country. But sir, we are consciously trying to do something so that we can start appreciating what we study. India has mountains, India has rivers, India has plains, India has forests, India has language A, B, C. India has villages. Sir, ये आपको हो गया, but appreciation कैसे आएगा? And honestly, I had no answer to that. Appreciation is something more deep, something which is probably more profound, that gives you a sense of understanding, happiness. I can't define it. So I think I will ask this to Qureshi, sir. He understands diversity like perhaps none of us do. Sir, this question, how do I tell my students or otherwise also? This country is not it is not just a boundary draw. Okay, if you can tell, sir, ki diversity ko appreciation and yeah, please, sir.
Actually, the diversity has to be understood. Understood in the sense that there is no one parameter of diversity. We are diverse on many reasons and systems. So what is required, we have to relate one another. If there are rivers, is this river embedded in our culture? Can you relate that? When you say that Ganga Asnane, Narvada Darshane, and Tapati Samane, Papan Shayanti. Now, if you take bath in Ganga and you just see Narvada and remember Tapti, आपके सारे पाप जो हैं वो खत्म हो जाएंगे. And now you are relating some religious sentiments with the river. River, you will not cram that it. Why Tapti Darshane? Because Narmada and Tapti Asman and Narmada Asman Darshane. Because both of them are flowing in the Rift Valley. And you cannot easily go down to take bath. So, likewise, if we are talking about the forests, then there are varieties of forests. There are different types of plants. And these plants have to be taken into consideration, like Northeast is famous for bamboos and bamboo flowering and the attack of rats. So you relate with it. And the other thing is that sometimes forest conservation, if you remember, then you can relate with that. The first Chipko Unveiling 1730 in the village Khejuri of Rajasthan, which was actually introduced by Bishnois and the Guru was Jambeshwarji, who gave one statement, the Shiv Sante or Suruk Rahe, Tabbi Sasta Jan. If you are able to save one tree by getting yourself beheaded, bargain is cheaper. So what happened in 1730 when the trees were cut under they were attempted to cut the trees by the order of the king, that is the Raja, people started embracing them. First Chipko was in 1730, 363 men, women and children were killed. And the Bishnoism and plant protection became synonymous. Then it came to Uttarakhand. So if we are able to correlate with these episodes, sometimes it helps us to correlate with our understanding forest. What is the role of forest? What is the role of conservation? How things are going to change. So there are ways, but the cramming, I have in your record. You sort out what you want to master upon, mastery on which particular topic. And you plan it. The syllabus has to be planned for coverage. You cannot do the flip-flop. Today psychology and tomorrow geography. And neither you are able to learn psychology nor geography. it becomes some hodgepodge situation.
Yes, yes. If I take the crux of that question or the answer, I think most of this appreciation comes from probably experiencing things and reading something repeatedly. When I started saying don't flip-flop between two topics, stick with the topic, study it repeatedly, and some insights always drop by. So appreciation and very interesting. I mean, think of the times when these slokas were written, or these couplets were written, and they probably were referring to rift valleys, which some of us are discovering in the class now. Yeah, okay, this is the rift valley there. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. I will wind up my part, and then they will share a few things. Talking about fear and appreciation and the journey and the mindset. Yesterday, I was scrolling my Twitter feed. I came across something. I think it will interest all of you. Somebody is giving a talk who says, I can't stop thinking about one question. The question is, are you willing to sprint when the distance is unknown? Sprint is what? Running. Running? Okay. And are you willing to run when the distance is not known to you? It says, in 2021, Georgia Tech strength coach Lewis Caralla delivered epic speech to his football team. He said, he opens his speech with few harsh truths. Like I think all of you can appreciate this. The first truth is, he says, winning isn't loyalty. Just because you won yesterday, does not mean you win today. Winning isn't loyalty. Winning does not care about you. Winning does not care how sore you are. Winning doesn't care how hard you work. Winning doesn't care how much sleep you get. Therefore, are you willing to sprint when the distance is unknown? The willingness to sprint with no clear finish line is very rare. And that is where the success is. It requires two things. Say, examination like UPSC, while we know what we want to achieve, we have no idea how much time it will take. We have no idea about what pitfalls we might have. We have no idea what challenge we'll face. It says, are you willing to keep working with this truth in mind? It says there are two things required. One is a belief in oneself. That you can run, you can fight, and a belief in the mission itself. That this running will take me somewhere. This sprint will take me somewhere. This study will take me somewhere. Okay. So if you don't have these two things, you cannot win. If you have one but not two, you can't do it. If you have two but not one, you cannot do it. You need both. In my observation, the greatest things in life are accomplished when you're willing to sprint when the distance is unknown. The sprint to care for your loved ones is one example. When a father, a mother, a brother, a friend cares for you or you care for her, it's an unending sprint. You do not know how long it will take, how long you must do it. The sprint to serve others, to sprint to build something meaningful. And these qualities are rare, and this is the only definition of winning. And why chase winning? It says, because the only thing guaranteed in life, if you don't chase winning, is you lose. Okay. So with these few words, I wind up my part of the talk. I will let Dave say a few words from his side. Okay. And then we can wind up for the day.
All right.
So I'll just try to summarize our whole discussion. So I'm not the perfect batsman. Okay. So first of all, I want you all to walk in thinking. I want to have different IQs, right? Different levels of competence, different interests, different capabilities. Everybody has a different starting point, right? But I want all of you to think that number one, it is not genetic. Don't say I don't like you. I don't know intelligence. This exam is not for me. Students from very, very disadvantaged backgrounds have succeeded. That is a clear indicator that this is not a genetic genetic race. Okay? That's the first thing that you need to consider. The second thing is that, in terms of your preparation, how you're approaching learning, okay? I'd like to say that it's a very confusing world out there, right? Sir talked about the explosion of information, right? So many things out there that are trying to attract you, whether it is a lot of garbage out there. Agreed? So I think, sir, said another thing that you get information, information becomes knowledge, knowledge becomes wisdom, right? You need to understand what that is, and that means that when the information is delivered to you, so you saw the video and you saw the sample answer, that is the starting point of education. What you do with it after you get it is what education really is. Okay? So, out here, this is the reason why we ask you to come to marathons. This is the reason why we ask you to do so many synopses. It's not to give you a hard time. Okay? We're not here to give you a hard time, but we genuinely understand that information delivery is not education, which is what the whole hardly believe. Okay? And I'll be very, very candid, and I can tell you, most of the edtech platforms have become that. They've become a marketplace for videos, right? And so many students come to Shabbir sir's class or Pathak sir's class. Not all of them qualified, right? So is it really the teacher? And I say this with full respect to all the teachers I've had, not a lot. It is what you do with what they give you. Right? So in this book, we have to try to demystify that. We've talked to hundreds of students who qualify. And we've tried to understand what they do well. And if I summarize, and I know we're short of time, but if I were to summarize it in one word, they have one capability, and which is the X factor, or whatever you call it. They know how to learn. It's learning to learn. I have a process. I learn it in 2 days, whereas the average person will take 20 days. I have to master a particular subject. So learning to learn is the skill that will take you wherever you want to go in life, whether it is UPSC, and I guarantee you, you may not succeed in UPSC. Like Pathak sir said, there's an element of chance. But you will be successful in what you do, learning to learn. And what that is, we have tried our best to provide in this book. It is not our perception, it is based on 3 things. We based our research on a survey of successful aspirants. You guys know Angela Duckworth. She has written a book called Grit. Okay, what makes endurance athletes and great performers succeed? And there is a research, you must have heard about the 10,000-hour rule. It's very popular. The guy who did the research is called, his name is Anders Ericsson. He's written a book called Peak. Read it. And he's got thousands of people who have succeeded in why. So it's not just 10,000 hours of practice. It is, he calls it deliberate practice. right? So you don't just keep hitting the ball if you're a tennis player, but you need a coach that tells you how to hit, how to swing, where you're going wrong, where your footwork is not right. That's exactly what Shabbir does in the marathons. That is where education happens, right? So I want you to have that kind of understanding of what it takes to be, you to be successful. It is not the syllabus only. Syllabus, I think, is just 20% of what takes you there. And unless you pay attention to that 80%, you are not going to qualify. Very clear. All of them you did, pay attention. Okay? So that's, in a crux what I wanted to say. I just wanted to let you know, so I drew all the pictures like Shabbir said. I had a lot of fun doing it because, and I'm not saying just because I love drawing, but when you are taking notes, do a visual representation of what you've learned. Because our mind doesn't work in straight lines. We take notes in class, right? Our mind doesn't memorize straight lines of words. Our mind memorizes in pictures. That is the reason why we wanted to draw, right? Certain concepts. Page 131, some of you will get it today for free. I think we have lots. And it's pretty inexpensively priced, thanks to Vikesh. But 131 is one of my favorites, and 236. Those two pages, the 236 is where I talk about interview. Okay? Lot of you go to lot of interviews. What do they tell you? अरे हाथ ऐसे क्यों रखा? Fidget कर रहे थे. Why did you take your hand there? Oh, you didn't look at them. Do you think that I can pay attention to etiquettes? These are interview etiquettes, right? You don't know that, right? You just search interview etiquettes, you don't need to go to mock interviews. What defines your etiquettes is your core values. Your core values is the bottom layer. Your core values define what is the choices you make in life. Oh, I'm a vegetarian because I clearly believe that it is not wise to kill animals. So there is a violent process. Or I am by nature this, and that is why. So you make choices based on your belief system. Your choices impact your behaviors. That determines if I not going to if you're a vegetarian. And eventually that reflects on your etiquettes. So etiquettes, figuring them out and saying, I shouldn't, you cannot remember all of them, right? Half pressing lana, back lana, should I cross my legs? Should I wear my tie? You'll get uncomfortable. But if you work on that mindset that we talked about, it is a big deal. Some people call it personality development. There are so many words for it. But fundamentally, this journey is going to create a different you. Okay? No matter whether you qualify or not, you learn to learn and you get there. So our genuine attempt is to give you that understanding that if you do it with your full heart and full mind. So at the end of it, it's a matter of chance you don't qualify fine, but you become your life, you will be successful. Right? So I'll end with a small story that always kind of intrigues me and motivates me. So it's a Zen story, right? So this guy, a Zen student, he was standing in the banks of a river. And he was like, oh, this river is deep and wide, how do I cross it? So he thought he couldn't figure out, and then he saw a Zen master on the other side. So he said, sir, master, how will I go to the other side? And the master looked at him and said, hey, but you are on the other side. So teacher is like that in giving you perspectives. But what the student did after that is totally his own. A teacher will tell you they are doing this or or maybe this way. There's so many perspectives that got presented today. But a good learner knows what to do with it. Right? So with that, I thank everybody who's been part of the journey. It was great experience writing it. Shabbir and I bantered a lot, and drawing, writing, proofreading, contributing. Is not just a young book. There is 100 plus pages of subject supplements where questions have been discussed. So you know the trends. There are topic strategies. So there are many topics we've talked about. So we give the same set of questions to them. So you can know that there are plenty of case studies. There's a lot of material which we thought that we go to hundreds of places to collect. So we tried to put it. We made it a workbook. So you can work on it. Keep it close to you. Keep traveling with it. This book should not be on the shelf or your bookshelf. It should be in your bag so that you write on it and highlight it and complete all the chapters. We're trying to see if we can take a summary of all the exercises that we have. It starts with a why exercise that Vikesh talked about. And all the way to filling up the draft form. If we can do that, then we'll be value add. But those of you who get a copy and will buy the book, absolutely enjoy it. Tell us what we can do better. Right? If there are faults, there are problems, nothing is perfect. So let us know and definitely, do the reprint and we'll correct those errors. So once again, thank you so much for coming and thank you and good luck. So we will draw the blocks. Sir will do the honors, and we have some games. Seven. So here's the deal, guys. So sir is going to pick 7 of this. 7 from this list. We're going to get a free book. We've had a draw of lots on the online. So you have 3 names from the online students. So we'll announce that. So, but let's begin the process. 7. One by one. Yes. Okay, first one, by the way, if you're not following 7, you're still 2 points, an early bird discount coupon that Vikesh has very generously provided. So you'll all get 2 points at a highly reduced rate. All right, Vidushi Bhardwaj. Vidushi Bhardwaj. Books. So please. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Who's it going to be? Jayant Sharma. Wonderful. Please, sir. Thank you. All right, good job, these two. So we don't give them more books than one. Bhumika BG. Bhumika, please.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Four more? Yes, okay. Online, just wait for me, we'll finish the offline ones and then come to you. We'll get the same book, no second hand treatment, okay? Naresh Kumar, H. Thank you.
We're glad to hear it.
Thank you so much.
Yes. One time for that one.
So down, 3 to go. All right, number 5. I should be like a judge, your school. Harshita Pandey. Harshita, how progresses?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Are you from Uttar Pradesh?
Yes, sir. Amethi.
Amethi?
Yeah.
Oh God, my dear.
5, 1, 2 more, okay. Number 6. Rohit Bhuti. Did I say that properly? Did I say it properly?
Yes, sir.
Awesome, okay. Congrats. Okay, last one. Sorry, guys. All right, this I think will be great recording. Yes, sir. Okay. You can write in the grades. You wrote 2 names. You get 1 book. Each only wrote. Good one. Okay. Come back, both of you. Please. Sure. Yeah. You only have 1 and 2. I mean, they do look like brothers.
I got that vision in Delhi on the side website without a I got that vision in Delhi on the website.
Oh, God.
Next time I will write.
Lots of hours.
All the best. All the best. Okay. Online. There are 3 names. Online, are you hearing this broadcast or? All right. I will announce them and we will have it shipped. Digambar Patel. Digambar, can you say yes, I have my name? Yes, sir. Okay. Digambar is there. Yes, Digambar is book. Tarun Chaudhary. Tarun Chaudhary. Can I get a yes, sir? Okay, Tarun Chaudhary. And Deepti Sharma. All right. Those are. You have coupons for everybody, right? Or how many? That's amazing. Okay, first point, you can watch onto the stage. There are some discount coupons, so I'll keep them. But we'll have continued predictions, so You don't have to worry. They are available. Yes, I will leave them here and pick them up. The book is available on Bookboost publishing website. It is available on Amazon. It is available on edukemy.com. It is also available at a local bookseller. We saw the book in some of the ORL bookstores also. So definitely, you have picked your copy. I think all of the coupons on the side and the side, that's kind of the deal. So leave them, please pick coupon as you go out. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.